Our first guest is 404 Strand company member Rick Kemp. Rick received his MA in English Literature from Oxford University and is currently working on his PhD in theater pedagogy at the University of Pittsburgh, while serving as a faculty member at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Rick has worked with many of the leading British theater companies, including his own company, Commotion, which was supported by the Arts Council of Great Britain. Since coming to the United States in 2001, Rick has worked with Schwank Opera, Unseen Shakespeare Company, and Quantum Theater, just to name a few. This summer, Rick will be staging a reimagination of Doctor Faustus with 404 Strand. Here is a clip of their production of Faustus.
Mephistopheles.
Faustus, now that the gloomy shadow of the earth, longing to view Orion's drizzling look, leaps from the Antarctic world unto the sea, and dims the welkin with her pitchy breath.
Rick, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
Tell me about Faustus.
Well, it's an extraordinary piece of work, even though I say it myself. The original impulse for the work came from Dan Gemmett, who is directing the piece. Dan works in Europe as well as the States. He's currently in Paris, which is why he isn't here. And he had this idea of working with the text of Marlowe's play, but sort of distilling it down to its core, taking out the scenes that have the sort of stupid clown stuff, which I quite like, but he was right to take them out, and just using the encounters between Faustus and Mephistopheles as the sort of skeleton of the performance. And we worked as a company in creating the show through improvisation, discussion, trying out different ideas. And we've done it in several stages. We worked last year with the assistance of the Kelly Strayhorn Theatre in creating a workshop version of the show, which we did in a storefront in East Liberty. And the fact of being in the storefront influenced a lot of the decisions we made. The original idea to be in the storefront was partly to do with looking at the way in which commerce has become the thing that people desire in contemporary culture.
Now, your performance in September of 2009, the workshop was a sold-out run with an audience of 30 every night.
Yep.
City Paper Review comments how atmospheric the production was. What was the atmosphere like?
Intense, claustrophobic, sweaty. It was really hot in there. The audience is very, very close to the action. We created this sort of cage of shelves through a sort of improvisatory process. We wanted shelves to put goods on, and then the shelves gradually got closer and closer and closed us in more. So then we realized that we only had room to put the audience right around the outside of the shelves. So they're sitting on one side of the shelves, we're inside this sort of rectangle, this cage of shelves. So the audience's experience of the show is very, very close. In fact, they're closer than you and I are now. And many of them commented on the fact that they very rarely get to see live theatre that way, that to have that close of an experience of people engaged in fictional circumstances and completely invested in them was really thrilling for them.
What will your new space at the downtown 805 Liberty Avenue be like?
Well, it's a larger space, and this is a new space that the Cultural Trust have created for their education and community outreach program. It's a beautiful studio, and one of the things that it appeals to us is that the walls of it are sort of old stone, the foundation of the building, and it's a larger space than the storefront that we originally created the show in. So we'll be erecting our sort of installation in there, the set made out of shells and so on. We'll still seat the audience close to the action, but a lot of that remains to be discovered, exactly how we'll do that, because of the way in which we work, which is a very creative process. We have a period of time where we can rework the show, particularly for that space, and with the sort of different perspective that we all have on it now.
Will you be incorporating more audience space so that you can have a larger audience, or do you want to keep it small?
We will have a larger audience, yeah, but not that much larger because we want to keep this intensity. We'll probably have enough capacity for 60 people this time round. So they'll still be very close to the action, and we'll seek to use the space around us a bit more as well. Not sure how yet.
Now we will watch a clip of Rick acting in Faustus.
View here the blood that trickles from mine arm, and let it be propitious for my wish. But Mephistopheles, my blood congeals, and I can write no more. What might the staying of my blood portend? Is it unwilling I should write this deed? Why streams it not that I may write afresh? Faustus gives to thee his soul. There it stayed. Why shouldst thou not? Is not thy soul thine own? Then write again.
Tell me about your acting process in Faustus.
Well, I don't know what I can say, actually, because a lot of it was very intuitive, and we made it up as we went along, basically. One of the great things about working with Dan, the director, is that he's very insistent on finding fresh and new ways of creating sort of vibrant performances. So it's very challenging for us as actors, but very satisfying when we get it right. So one of the things that you probably noticed in the clip was that I'm using tomato soup to represent the blood. And that idea sort of was something that came up in rehearsal. But when we thought about it, we realized that when an audience watches a show, they know at some part of their consciousness that what they're watching is an illusion. Obviously, they get engaged in the fictional circumstances, but they also know that the blood that they see is stage blood, you know, that when somebody gets stabbed, they're not really stabbed. They know that. So we thought we'd play with that sort of balance between reality and illusion, and sort of expose the mechanics of the illusion as a way of heightening the intensity of the imaginative engagement of the audience with the fictional circumstances. And obviously, if we want to increase that intensity, it's really important that all of us who are acting in the piece have a very true emotional engagement with the fictional circumstances. So that was one of the most challenging things, I think, because whenever an actor's working, they're always aware of the mechanics of what they're doing, I think. Some people would maybe disagree with me. But the trick is to have a sort of dual consciousness and be engaged with yourself emotionally with the fictional circumstances whilst working with the mechanics, and, you know, make it something that has an emotional truth, an emotional reality for the audience.
Well, best of luck in your upcoming production and with your acting process. Faustus will be performing downtown at 805 Liberty Avenue from July 21st to August 1st. For tickets, call 412-456-6666 or buy online at pgharts.org. For more information, visit 404 Strand online at 404strand.com. Thank you for being here, Rick.
You're welcome. Thank you.